Hello, Otter Creek FL and the Shady Bunch, along with DJ Radis supporters from around the globe. We are back bigger and better with Season 2, Episode 1. Today, we interview Lynette's attorney, Bruce The Deuce, Esquire. Welcome to the show, Bruce The Deuce, Esquire.
Finally, thank you for having me on the show. I've been trying for months now to get onto an accredited show to give the truths and facts as to how I believe them.
Let's start off by having you give a brief background of yourself.
Well, I've been attempting to practice law now for the past 27 years, but those years were mainly spent looking in a mirror, grilling myself with questions and answering them, trying to build up enough courage to finally take on a real case. After 21 years, I finally started actually practicing law and took on my first case. I call it the stale and cold mac and cheese. One night I went out with my mail-order Russian bride and took her to this little place in Boston. I had heard great reviews from the other bottom feeders in the area stating that this place served the best mac and cheese in the world. I was greatly disappointed with what I was served.
What do you mean by disappointed?
Well, my wife and I ordered the mac and cheese deluxe. I told my wife to go sit down at a table and ID pay for the meal. So she went off and found the only available table in the middle of the restaurant. I opened my wallet and took out my credit card. I swiped it and it said declined. I tried 3 other cards, all coming back with declined. I asked the man behind the counter if he took EBT food stamp cards. He said yes, but I couldn't use it for the fresh mac and cheese that was cooked today. I looked over at my wife, smiled, and gave her a wave. Then I swiped my EBT card. It was accepted. I went and sat down at the table. A few minutes later, the waiter brought out our food. I took a spoonful and knew at that moment I had fucked up. The mac and cheese was cold and stale, like it had been sitting out of the fridge for weeks. My wife took a spoonful and spat it out instantly over the table and me. I knew things were about to get bad. I called for the waiter and asked why the food was like this. He explained to us that because we had paid with the EBT card, that this was the best he could do. My face turned red. I was embarrassed. I looked at my wife, who wasn't embarrassed. She had fire in her eyes. Man, if looks could kill, she would have been charged with murder that night. We both got up and left. About 5 days later, I attempted to sue the restaurant for the embarrassment it made me feel when I had no money to buy food. This is what started my crusade to sue everyone for anything, just to get my free meal ticket.
Well, thank you for that brief background. So ultimately, you are saying you don't actually make an honest living. You live the American dream by suing others for their money. So my notes say you recently filed some lawsuits on some YouTubers. Is this your next meal ticket?
My friend Shart the Wet Fart messaged me one night to review a story she had been working on. Her friend Lynette from Otter Creek had stalked a YouTuber called Mr. Hales there in an attempt to get money from him for her turtle purgatory. After he had said no multiple times, she wrote some signs to smear his good name around the town. He responded by publicly calling her out. At this stage, I saw her as the victim. This wouldn't have happened if he just opened his deep pockets to her and gave her what she wanted. Mr. Hales caused this upon himself. Other YouTubers then started making content about Lynette. For example, a gentleman and fellow attorney, Larry the DUI Clus, did some case reviews on YouTube using Lynette's face. This, in my eyes, was defamation. There was also a DJ called Radis who made parody songs. I explained to Lynette that she had a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, even bigger than the O.J. Simpson trial.
My notes say you are suing Jeremy, George, Larry, and DJ Radis. All of them have received their summons except for DJ Radis. Why haven't you served him yet?
Everyone was easily to find and serve. As for DJ Radis, though, we had some email correspondence back and forth when he eventually told me to go fuck myself with a cucumber. As I went to the fridge to get one, he just up and disappeared. I started stalking him, trying to figure out where he went. I saw he went to Chicago, so I tried to have him served there. That was a bust. I tried having him served at his ex-wife's house twice. That was another couple of busts. I sent a process server out to Niagara Falls. He wasn't there either. There was even a rumor he was camping in my backyard. So again, I wasted more money to try and get him served there. Turned out he wasn't there. I saw a picture of him in space. I paid extra to send a process server up in one of the SpaceX rockets to serve him. Turns out that was just a meme. The picture looked so real, though. I asked my moles, where the fuck is DJ Radis? No one can find him. I'm getting annoyed because every time I try and get him served, it costs me $1,000.
DJ Radis, wherever you are, keep doing what you are doing. The whole world is supporting you. So Bruce the Deuce, here I have you just recently filed yet another lawsuit against ex-Maida Mayor The Reese, Brett, Deanna, Rex, Tubetown Mayor Travis, and Sheriff Gregory. What have these people all done?
Well, Lynette had an elderly disabled war veteran called Lloyd staying on her property for the past few months. He decided he no longer wanted to stay there and called up those people to go help him remove his belongings from the property, including a camper valued at almost $25,000. So they all arrived one afternoon with the sheriff to help him. Lynette originally refused them all access because she wanted to keep everything. She claimed that Lloyd offered John to buy the camper for $1. John even made a video about it. Turns out that was a lie. But Lynette still didn't want these people there. They were filming for their own accountability. However, LiarNet didn't want evidence about how trashy her property was. She even locked her child in one of the campers with no air conditioning or having the windows open. Some people called that child abuse and even called CPS because of it. She eventually gave Lloyd everything back except his fridge, his guns, and his EBT card.
Why did LiarNet keep the fridge, guns, and EBT card?
About a week prior, her fridge stopped working, so she needed a new one. It just happened that Lloyd's fridge was there, so she claimed it as hers. She took the guns and sold them so she could use the money to fix her broken trailer. Lloyd's EBT card had more money on it than her own. If he really wanted it, he would have gone looking for it when he was on the property. LiarNet just assumed she could keep it. You know the saying, finders keepers, old disabled war veterans weepers. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
So basically all these cases are frivolous. How do you expect to get away with them if these people decide to file countersuit claims against you?
Oh, that is real easy. I convinced a schmuck in Florida called Scott Reed to actually be the filing attorney. I promised him riches above his wildest dreams. All he has to do is sign off on the paperwork and file it. That way, if anything ever happens, it's his name on everything, not mine. Plus, as a backup, I created a LLC and hide all my assets in it. I'm untouchable.
Don't you have any morals at all? You are potentially destroying another attorney's life with these cases.
Nope. My care factor is 0. He should have read everything before signing the papers.
I was contacted recently by another journalist, Megan Fox, and a very well-spoken gentleman who goes by the name that Umbrella Guy. They stated you have even threatened them with a case because they didn't want to hear about your absurd mac and cheese case. They too also started covering this story. What are your views and opinions on them?
Megan Fox and that Umbrella Guy are not nice people. They both refuse to have me on their shows. They mock me with meme they or others make. They call me an ambulance chaser lawyer. I have more merits than that. And Megan, in my opinion, isn't a real journalist. Nothing compared to Shark the Wet Fart. As for that Umbrella Guy, he doesn't know me. But I know him. I had my supporters dox him and his ex-wife to prove I mean business. Remember, I'm that untouchable attorney. They will both be sorry for not allowing me on their shows.
Okay, just a few more things as we start to wrap this interview up. A gentleman called Mike, who runs a YouTube channel, Veteran Nation, recently had you on his show because I believe he called CPS on LiarNet. Why have you consistently belittled him on other shows and even started stalking him too? I saw the copy of the letter you sent him making threats of a case against him. Also, what happened to the GoFundMe that you set up in LiarNet's grandson's name but then got called out on it? One day it was there and the next it was gone.
As for Mike from Veteran Nation, he was telling the truth on the phone call to CPS, however I needed to defend my client. He was bringing light to the situation on the property, but I can't have it portrayed that way. So I tried to diffuse and deflect the comments, calling him a liar. The GoFundMe topic, I wish to plead the fifth.
Well, folks, that is all the time I'm prepared to have this douche canoe, Bruce the Deuce, on my show for. Stay tuned for next week's episode of 2 Fleas on a Dog. If you have made it this far, thank you. Please remember to hit subscribe, share this video, and leave a comment. DJ Radis recently hit 4,000 subscribers. Let's help him to reach his next goal of 10,000 before the end of the year.